Good evening, everyone. This is the public informational meeting for State Project 11-159, Culvert Replacement on Route 305 in the towns of Bloomfield and Windsor. My name is Byung Kim. I work in the DOT State Highway Design Unit, and I am the project engineer. Please join us after the presentation for a live question and answer session. Again, please reserve your questions till the end of the presentation. A recording of this presentation will be posted on YouTube after the live event. Closed captioning, including non-English translation options, will be available at that time. Non-English translation options are also available here in Zoom. This meeting will begin with an introduction of the team who are working on this project. Then an overview of the meeting format will be provided, along with details on how to submit your comments or concerns both during and after the meeting. Next, we will present the proposed project, including the purpose and need, the design plans, and rights-of-way required, and an overview of constructability and traffic management considerations. Then we will end with a live question and answer session here in Zoom. Now to introduce the design team. For State Highway Design, Scott Bushy is the principal engineer. Joseph Arsenal is the project manager. Again, my name is Byung Kim, the project engineer. Kevin Osowski is the project designer. For bridge design, Zoltan Kanyo is the project engineer. Matthew Giannakopoulos is the rights-of-way coordinator. For those of you who would like to submit your questions or concerns, there are multiple ways to do so. After this presentation, there will be a live question and answer session. You can put your comments into the Zoom Q&A section and we will answer them. Otherwise, you can submit them via email at dotproject11-159@ct.gov or leave a voicemail at 860-594-2020. Please reference Project 11-159 in your message. Questions submitted via email or voicemail will receive a reply within 1 week of submission. To find additional project information, please visit the project webpage at https://portal.ct.gov/DOT Bloomfield 11-159. To use the Zoom Q&A chat box, select the Q&A box at the bottom of the Zoom window and type in your question or comment in the dialog box and click Enter. To view captions and subtitles in Zoom, go to the bottom of the Zoom window. Click the Show Captions button and navigate to Speaking Language and choose your preferred language. Closed captioning will also be available on the YouTube recording after tonight's presentation. Title VI states that no person shall, on the basis of race, color, or national origin, be excluded from participation or subject to discrimination in the development of this project. We would appreciate it if you filled out the optional post-meeting survey, which covers the accessibility and clarity of the presentation and can be found at https://portal.ct.gov/CT DOT survey or by scanning the QR code on screen. This will also be provided at the end of the presentation. You can find more information on your civil rights at https://portal.ct.gov/DOT/business/Office of Equity/Title VI page. A recording of this presentation will be posted on YouTube after the live event. This slide contains more information on Title VI, including where to get more information about the Connecticut DOT's Civil Rights Program and how to file a complaint. This information on the slide can be accessed by calling 860-594-2169 or by going to www.ct.gov/DOT. The existing culvert carries the flow from Millbrook on the Route 305, which is approximately 900 feet west of Marshall Phelps Road. The top right photo is a street view showing Route 305 looking left, which is westbound. The three 30-inch pipes are located in the center of the slide in blue. There's existing guide rail on both sides of the road. A few landmarks. On the bottom of the page, there's the Club Fitness Center. On the left of the page, there's CubeSmart self-storage facility. And the top shows Barber Pond Dam, which is about 220 feet upstream of the culvert crossing. This dam serves Millbrook and Barber Pond and represents the upstream controlling feature of the stream. The Department of Energy and Environmental Protection has plans to remove this dam. The tentative schedule for the dam removal is between spring and fall of 2024. The purpose of the project is to resolve the recurring flooding of Route 305 at the Millbrook crossing. The existing 30-inch pipes are hydraulically inadequate to handle the flow of Barber Pond, resulting in the frequent flooding of Route 305. This flooding occurs as low as 2-year storm events. The end wall is also in poor condition at the outlet. I am going to hand the presentation off to Kevin to talk about the proposed design.
Thanks, Leon. Hello, everyone. My name is Kevin Osowski. I'm the project designer, and I'm going to go over the proposed changes. For this project, the existing pipes will be replaced with a 20-foot wide by 8-foot deep box culvert. The roadway will also be raised by a maximum of 3.5 feet. These two changes combined will work to prevent flooding, as the roadway will now be above the 500-year stormwater elevation. Route 305 will be standardized to have 11-foot wide lanes with 4-foot wide shoulders. Millbrook will be realigned to provide a more direct flow path. Guide rail will be installed along the project where necessary. This image shows the proposed work discussed on the previous slide. A temporary driveway will be installed for the Club Fitness Center lot, as the existing driveway is too close to where excavation is occurring. The light blue shows the existing stream path, and the dogleg that exists south of Route 305 will be removed via the stream realignment. This vertical alignment shows the roadway being raised approximately 3.5 feet. This will provide sufficient cover over the box culvert and also prevent the roadway from flooding in a 500-year storm. The proposed box culvert is shown in orange, and the existing 30-inch pipes are shown in blue. This image shows a view of the inlet of the culvert. 2 feet of streambed material will be placed at the bottom of the culvert as shown in orange. The culvert is 20 feet wide and 8 feet deep, with wing walls protruding from each side. It will be made of reinforced concrete. Due to poor soil conditions in the project site, this project will be conducted over the course of 2 years. During the first year, the roadway will be raised to its final elevation. In the second year, the box culvert will be installed and the existing pipes will be removed. This project requires full roadway closures during construction. These road closures will be 2 weeks long during each year. Outside of these detour periods, alternating one-way traffic will be utilized. Access to all driveways will be maintained at all times during construction. The Club Fitness Center lot is the only lot that requires a temporary driveway. This slide shows the existing roadway conditions. You can see the existing reinforced concrete pipes on both the aerial view and the elevation view, shown in blue. This slide shows the work that will be completed during the first construction season. The roadway will be raised, guide rail will be installed, and utility poles will be relocated. The fill is shown on the elevation view in green. This slide shows the finished product of this project. During the second construction season, the box culvert will be installed, the existing pipes will be removed, and the stream will be realigned to its final position. The utility considerations for this project are as follows. 2 new overhead utility poles will be installed, and 2 overhead utility poles will be permanently removed. 6 overhead poles will be relocated to provide room for construction equipment. We will be replacing the existing cast iron water main with ductile iron pipe. The underground water and gas mains will be relocated. The water main is shown in blue, and the gas main is shown in orange. This plan shows the utility pole impacts. Inside of the ovals are the poles that will be the most affected by the relocation plan. This image shows the detour plan. It utilizes only state routes, using Route 305, Route 187, Route 178, and I-91. The detour route is about 8 miles and 13 minutes long and adds about 5 miles and 7 minutes to the driver's trip. This project is deemed to have minor environmental impacts. We are currently investigating the archaeological potential impacts of the soil in the project site, and consultation with Native American tribes will follow. Water quality and handling permits are required for this project, and these include the Army Corps, the DEEP 401 Water Quality Control, the DEEP Inland Wetland General, and the Stormwater Discharge Permit. This image shows the rights-of-way impacts. Sliver acquisitions are needed to accommodate the cross arms of the proposed utility poles. The easements for construction will provide access to needed areas during construction. The partial takes, shown via the red lines, are included so that maintenance can be carried out on the culvert in the future. It is important to note that some of the land being acquired currently belongs to the Garter Pond Wildlife and Recreation Area. I will now hand it off to Matt Giannakopoulos to talk more about rights-of-way.
I am Matt Giannakopoulos, and I am a right-of-way coordinator with the Department's Division of Rights-of-Way. It is our office's responsibility to acquire the property rights needed for transportation projects. The proposed project design requires the acquisition of property rights, so I'd like to give a brief overview of the Department's right-of-way acquisition process. Please keep in mind, though, that the specific impacts are still being fine-tuned and may change as the design progresses. Any property rights that will be acquired in accordance with Connecticut General Statutes sections 13A-73 and 13A-98E. And whenever there is federal money used in any phase of a project, the department must adhere to the Uniform Relocation Assistance and Real Properties Acquisition Policies Act of 1970 as amended. Once the design has moved to the point where we are ready to begin the acquisition process, each affected property owner will receive a formal letter of intent to acquire from our office, along with a property map which depicts the exact property rights to be acquired. At that point, our office will determine the fair market value of those property rights and use that value to establish an offer of just compensation. The offer will be sent out to the owner in writing, and a right-of-way agent will be available to meet with the property owners and explain the project, go over the specific impacts to the property, and explain how the state developed its offer. The property owner will have a reasonable time to consider the state's offer and enter into negotiations. If an agreement is reached, the state will prepare all the necessary paperwork and record the deed and the property map on the town land records. However, if negotiations reach an impasse, in order to keep everything on schedule, the department may acquire the necessary property rights through its power of eminent domain. In that event, the state files a notice of condemnation in the Superior Court along with a monetary deposit in the amount of the state's offer. The property owner will have 6 months from that date to appeal for a reassessment of the damages if they thought the state's offer was inadequate. Now, whether or not the owner chooses to use their right to appeal, the money that was deposited in the court is available to be withdrawn by the owner at any time, subject to the discretion of the Superior Court. I know sometimes people think when they hear eminent domain that it means the state just takes their property for a dollar, but that's not the case. The owners are entitled to at least the amount of the state's offer, and the state only takes title to the property rights that are needed for the project. If there are any questions regarding the department's right-of-way acquisition process, I'd be happy to address them during the Q&A portion of tonight's meeting.
Thanks, Mad. I'll now finish this presentation by going over the project cost and schedule. The total construction cost of this project is estimated to be $5.5 million. This project is funded 80% by the federal government and 20% by the state. The design is anticipated to be completed in July of 25. Construction will begin in the summer of 2026 and end in the fall of 2027. That concludes our presentation. At this time, we will be taking questions you may have. You can submit questions via the Zoom chat window, the project email, or you can leave a voicemail on the project phone line. You can also scan the QR code on the slide to fill out an optional post-meeting survey, which covers the accessibility and clarity of the presentation. I am going to hand over the Q&A session to Joe.
Okay, yeah, so as Byung just mentioned, we are going to enter the Q&A portion of tonight's presentation. So again, what we're going to have you do, if you have any questions or comments that you would like us to try to address tonight, please go ahead and click that Q&A button. It should be at the bottom of your screen. If you're on a computer, you may have to move your mouse or cursor around to get that to pop up. You go ahead and click that button, and then a window will pop up and you can enter your question or comment in there, and we'll do our best to address those comments and questions as they come in. And just a couple reminders, we do have our email up here and also our telephone number for voicemail. If you think of any questions or comments to submit later, please use these. And again, if you're watching this on YouTube at a later time, those would be the best ways to get in touch with us. So that would be the project email and the project voicemail shown on the screen here. So we'll just allow for some time to see if any questions come in. And just to reiterate, while we're waiting for questions, we're displaying on the screen here, we got our project webpage at the top left corner. You'll see useful links on that webpage. And then again, our project email, project voicemail. So if you do have any comments or questions, you can send them in there. The most efficient way would probably be to use the project email there, which is DOT project 11-159 at ct.gov. Still not seeing any questions coming in. So if you do have anything, please click that Q&A button and go ahead and submit your questions or comments. Having received no questions or comments, I think we're gonna think about wrapping this meeting up in a couple minutes here. Young, maybe you could go back and just, review the schedule. If you could get back to that slide while we're waiting for any questions or comments to come in.
Sure. Yeah, give me 1 second. So I misquoted earlier. It's design completion actually November. It just changed recently. November 25, and anticipate construction will be in the summer of 2026 and end in the fall of 2027.
Okay, great. Yeah, and that is, of course, assuming that everything goes smoothly with our permitting process through DEEP and Army Corps, and of course, acquiring the property that we need for the project. So those are tentative dates. So I think we'll do a last call here. If anyone on, any attendees have any questions or comments, please get those in. Okay, seeing no questions or comments, I think we're going to end tonight's meeting. You can see all the contact information pertaining to the project up here on the screen. Again, the project email is probably the most direct and efficient way of getting in touch with us. And that is DOT project 11-159 @ct.gov. And we'd like to thank those who attended tonight's meeting. Have a good night.